Do we want to start a movement or anything, or like have some laws passed to help shorter people, like to help level the
No, I
playing
look
field?
at
I
it
always
as like
loved being the anomaly.
Yeah, the more people that use that as an excuse, the better I'm going to do. I'm killing it. Like, and
I remember, 5'6". Yeah, no, you're not. Shut up, Matt. You're not 5'6". I don't believe you.
I don't believe him.
You're 5'7". You're at least 5'7".
No, I don't believe that either.
Yeah. Anyways, but I remember seeing the statistic on like the average CrossFit Games athlete. It was like height, weight, and then all of these lifts, right? Your average lifts, and then your average score, and your average score on workouts. And like the only one I fit in was like the Fran time. Everything else, I was like well below. I was like, I love it. I love these statistics. I love being the anomaly. So
well, I remember,
exactly.
Hearing people complain of like, every CrossFitter is like the ideal height is 5'8", the ideal weight is 200, and then like people that are like 6'2" are complaining. I'm like, do you see me complaining that I can't play in the NBA? Like, no,
right?
I'm not 6'5", so that's probably not the sport for me. Go find a sport that suits your body type.
And it's the attitude too, right there. I mean, yes, there are some freak athletes out there that can break in to sports like basketball, that like a Spud Webb and a Muggsy Bogues, right? Like, it's the attitude, man. And if you literally, like, as cliche as it sounds, if you want to put your mind to something and do it, there's a good possibility you could do it if you literally
100%.
grinded and worked. And maybe you won't make it. I'm not saying every person that puts 100% effort into it, but what people consider 100% isn't even close to 100%.
Oh my God. Try. Get me started on this.
They'll try for a little bit and then they just give up. You get your ass out there and you find that fucking dog. You know what I mean?
Well, not only that, like, people think, I hear it from every CrossFitter of like, my day is dedicated to this. My life revolves around this, going on and on. Every other picture is them at a beach, like,
right?
Posing in their new swimsuit. Every other meal is out at a restaurant. I'm like, you're not fucking dedicated. Don't give me this.
Dedication is definitely a loosely used term.
And whatever anyone else wants to do, like, that's on them. You go do you do whatever. But I feel like it takes away from when I say, no, my life is dedicated to this.
Right.
Like, because now there's two people saying the same thing. One of us is lying, and I know it's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like that's the thing, is people don't understand the grind it really takes, right? People want to see, they see Instagram, they see, these big lifts, and they see all the positive sides of it. But exactly, when I was in the heavy thick of things, it was all I did. I would wake up, I would eat breakfast, I would play with my kids, as much as I could. But I was in the gym most of the day, either working out or stretching or recovering. And when I'm done, I'm taking care of the food I'm eating and I'm recovering. It was like there wasn't much time. It wasn't a sacrifice for me because I enjoyed every second of it. Mm-hmm. But I loved it. And that's what I tell people this all the time. Like, you have to love the grind, because if you don't, you're not going to get very far, because it is insane.
And I mean, I still struggle with it, of realizing, you hear, once again, every cliche person, like, you have to be in love with the pursuit, not the end goal. And it's really true, because, like, do you guys watch the documentary, the Price of Gold, or the Weight of Gold? It was like Michael Phelps was narrating it, I think.
No.
Anyways, he talks to a bunch of different Olympic athletes, and they talk about the post-competition blues of, like, they trained their whole lives to go to the Olympics. They go, or just whatever big competition, and they go, and then they accomplish their lifelong goal. And they're on this high for the week after of, everyone's congratulating them. They have a parade, like, all this epic shit. And then they're, like, forgotten about again. And they're like, oh shit, it's over. Like, do I sign up again and commit to this for 4 more years? And I never knew the term for it. Every year after the games, getting the post-competition blues of, like, once everyone's done patting you on the back, once the excitement is gone, and it's like, all right, do I start over and do it all again? So yeah.
Do you ever have any emotional dumps, Matt, where you're just like it's the night after the games and you're in your hotel room crying and you don't know why? Like, you ever have anything that like?
No, I remember I had a couple of significant years. I remember after the 14 games, sitting on the rooftop of the house we rented with my buddy from like middle school, high school, and just like being incredibly grateful and realized like, okay, like this is about to change my life. And then every year since then, I think 15 was a rough year, but that was the night that I met Sammy, that I hung out with Sammy at the after party. And so like it turned in from the worst day of my life to the best day of my life. But then every year after that, it was just, I think after 16, it was a big weight off my shoulders. It was a big relief.
What do you mean the worst night of your life? Why was 2015 after the games not a highlight, except for Sammy?
Because I got second place. I lost. So, I mean, that was,
loser.
I mean, it was just like, yeah, it was incredibly disappointing. I was just disappointed in myself, you know, like, you know, I just realized like, all right, like I deserve the spot I have. Like I truly believe I had the potential to win. But I just fucked off the whole year and just like cut corners, all that shit. And so I was just like super disappointed and upset. And there's a real possibility of like, all right, back to back in second place, I may never win. But then I met Sammy and okay, on the worst day of my life, I met my wife. So it's a pretty good day.
I'm sure the second place was a very bad day. I know you consider it maybe the worst day of your life, but I'm sure there's been worse days. But in your mind, maybe just losing, not achieving that ultimate goal, I could see that for sure. I mean, I remember when I did second, I was like, people were like, oh, it's so great, and I remember being like, I hate this medal. I don't hang it up. My second place medal doesn't hang anywhere. It's in a drawer. I don't care. You know, it wasn't.
I remember for that. Probably for 2 years, I hated my 2015 medal. Hated it because it was just like, it represented cut corners, all this stuff. But then after, I think the 17 games, so after I had won it twice, I learned to love that medal because it went from no longer representing cut corners, but it went to representing lessons learned. Yeah. Like I realized that I wouldn't have had the 2016 season that I had without that enormous disappointment, and then continuing like breaking my own record of margin of victory. Like I wouldn't have had that. Like I'm so thankful now that I lost in 15, because if I had won, I would have kept up the same dietary habits, same sleep schedule, the same everything. Because I'm like, oh, I can out-train a bad diet. I can out-train a bad sleep schedule. I can out-train, being weak mentally. So I mean, it was a kick in the ass, and I'm glad it paid off.
Right.
Now I love that medal.
I feel the same way. Like the year of 15 was when I didn't make it to the games that year. It was that same feeling, right? It was, it's crazy to me that I look back and like the defining moment in my life or defining moment in my CrossFit career was the year I didn't make the CrossFit games. Like that was it. Well, it was crazy.
And that's a choice. That's a choice. Like 99% of people get that defeat and just go like, oh, not in the cards for me. You know, like the amount of people I see, like especially when like regionals were still like the regular regionals, like not super regionals, and they took 3. There were people that I saw that like got taken out every single year by the same movement. Like, and like 3 years in a row, they would have made it to the games if they had gotten better at this one movement. And every year they're just like, oh, I can't believe that movement showed up again. Maybe next year they won't show up. And I'm like, are you fucking with me?
Right.
They're absolutely going to show up. But even if they don't, go get better at it.
Yeah.